Hello friends, Gobble63 here, and today I'm going to make a guide on starting maps. This is a beginner map guide for people that haven't done maps yet and are curious about what they should know and the best tips I can come up with. Because I didn't do maps before, I just started doing maps about 2 days ago, and I've been playing the game for like 48 hours straight and just spamming maps. So everything that I've learned over the past couple of days, I'm going to give to you guys so you can see all the important information that you need to know. So the first thing about maps is you have to make sure you're prepared before you go. So when I first started doing maps, I had 2,700 health as my health pool. I'm a Chaos Inoculation character, so I have 5,000 now, but I only had, or shield, but I only had 2,700 when I was started. That is not enough. If you're a health-based character, it's not so bad because you can pick up some like divine flasks and stuff, and you can instant pot your health back. If you're Chaos Inoculation, it's not enough. You will die all of the time. So you need to make sure you have at least 3,000 if you're a health-based character, and like you want to shoot for at least 4,000 if you're an energy shield character. It's not that hard to come by. Just pick up some items and whatever. You want to have a sustainable life pool. Number two, make sure you have the right flasks. You need to have good flasks. You need to have frozen dispel flasks. You need to have bleeding dispel flasks, and that's pretty much all I have right now. But you also want to have, if you can, curse immune flask, because that's really important. There are other flasks you can also take, so like burning flask, shock flask, etc. But just I can't stress enough, the things that will kill you with bleeding will kill you, and freezing will kill you. So those are really good. If you want, you can even throw in a quartz flask if you're not that good at positioning, so you can stay alive. Um, Second thing I want to talk about that's like really important is the individual maps themselves. So when you get into maps, not all of them are fun because some of them suck. There's the layouts, but the most important thing is the maps usually aren't that hard. They're just monsters, you just fight stuff, no big deal. The trick is the bosses. So I'm going to focus just on the 66 maps, which are these ones here. Actually, not the unique ones. The Crypt map, it has just a skeleton that does ice damage, and he's in a room with a group of monsters. So all you gotta do is just pull the monsters out, don't fight them all together, and no problem. You should be fine. It's really not that hard of a boss. Same thing with Dried Lake. It's just that Chaos Roa from Mudflats, so it's no big deal. Dunes map, it has Hillock. Now you'd think it's like Hillock, and it's just like, oh, just Hillock. No, it's fine. If Hillock gets under half HP, he pulls the sword out of his chest and he gets all his health back. So if you can freeze him, he doesn't do that and you can kill him easily. So if you're any kind of freeze character, you're fine, don't worry about it. However, this is where it becomes more challenging, and this is, I definitely died 100% to this, and you might die to this as well if you're not prepared. When Hillock pulls the sword out of his chest, one, he attacks faster, he gets like a triple attack using multi-strike or something, and he can leap slam onto you, summoning zombies. And when the zombies die, if you kill them, they create a poison cloud that does a lot of chaos damage. It's like really fast, you have to notice it right away. So you need instant flasks, and you gotta know that he's gonna do these things. Other than that, you should be okay. Just stay at a range, kick his ass, you're all good. Dungeon. You fight Brutus. Don't fight Brutus, okay? I died the second I got in there, because you think, oh, it's just Brutus. He's just going to ground slam me and whatever. He summons like triple the skeletons that come down from the sky. There are other monsters in the room with him, and when he does that like grate of like there's that where like the spikes come out of the floor, it's like triple the size. So it's always going to hit you when it comes up. So unless you're like really geared, you will die. So if you're playing Beyond, be very careful about that one. That is terrible. Then you have Grotto. Grotto is nothing big. It's like just like it looks like the Merveil thing or like the squid thing, and it shoots out fire. It's as hard as Fire Fury in like the beginning of the game. So Grotto's fine. It's just a map. It's easy. Orchard. The only thing that's hard about the boss is it's one of the Devourers, but it has one. It does a lot of damage. It hits really hard. But two, it has a very slow-moving fireball attack that will basically just kill you. It hits you, you're just dead. It does like a bazillion damage. So most people just avoid it because, especially at that level when you just start, if you fight it, it will kill you because you're just hit by a stray attack, you're dead, and then, oopsie, I'm out of Beyond or Hardcore and I gotta make a new character. So just avoid that one. Like of the two, Dungeon and Orchard, just avoid them unless you're sure you can take them down. I would highly recommend just avoiding them because the loot's not even that good. Overgrown Ruin, the boss is Fidelitis, and he just hits really hard. So, assuming you have lightning resist, you should have no problem. But it's just Fidelitis and a bunch of skeletons, so no worries about that. And then Tropical Island, it's just a big gorilla. So he hits hard and he attacks fast, but it's just a gorilla, so you don't really have to worry about that. So those are the bosses, and that's pretty much all you need to know about the maps. The layouts are similar every time. Like the orchard is always going to have the same layout every time you do it, and stuff like that. And then the best ones to farm are absolutely Dried Lake Dunes and Tropical Map. Tropical Island's the best one because it's linear. You can get every single monster, and it's really easy. The monsters there aren't so bad. But the next thing I want to talk about really quickly, I want to briefly touch on, is map mods. So when you're first starting out, do all the maps before you add mods to them. That's just first. Do all the maps before you add mods because you want to know what they are. But then second thing, the mods have a lot of different effects on the map, and you can add mods to a map by enchanting them. So if I go into my stash and I grab a map here, so I've got the Orchard map, and I want to add a mod to it, I can just take an Orb of Transmutation, bam, I hit it up, and now monsters reflect 18% of elemental damage. It gives me increased item quantity, which is good, I find more items, but every time I hit a monster with elemental damage, I'm taking 18% back. That sucks. That really hurts. It's really painful, and a lot of map mods some characters can't even do. So you have to be really careful when you look at these. And some of them are also deceiving. So Areas Inhabited by Humanoids has the drawback of some of the humanoids do chaos damage. So if you don't have any way to mitigate chaos damage, you will get sorted down real fast. Areas Inhabited by Goatmen is obnoxious as hell. The Goatmen will jump on you all the time, and the jumps desync you. So you have to be really careful, because anything that stuns desyncs. So be very careful. Inhabited by Demons, you're going to be talking about the Hell Dogs, the Void Bearers, and just all of Piety's shit. So also very dangerous. You just got to be really careful about that. That you just the things that you. I'm trying to go over the things you don't really see. You can probably understand a lot of these, like contains many totems and has totems or increased damage. Like obviously you have to worry about that. Monsters have Nemesis mods. This can be both a good thing and a bad thing. Nemesis mods make the game harder because they have their own mod, but they can also have the Treasure Bearer mod or whatever it is. And so you get a unique, guaranteed unique. I've seen that once, and that was pretty cool. Yeah, Ella, reflecting damage or immune to curses. Some builds are very reliant on curses, so be very careful. So if you're like, if you use Assassin's Mark to get power charges or something, don't do this map because it sucks. That's terrible. And yeah, monsters cannot be stunned. Actually, is surprising because monsters can't be stunned. It significantly reduces desync because everything actually just stays in place. So I've actually found most maps to be easier with monsters cannot be stunned because there's no desync. So this one's actually, I always take this one. You may not want to, depending on if you're like a stun build, but if you're not a stun build, this one's actually, it's great. It actually makes the game easier, surprisingly. And then the suffixes, most of these aren't so bad, but stuff like cannot regenerate life or mana will kill you unless you have a very specific build. Player's Curse with Temporal Chains makes you so slow. You're just so slow. It's terrible. And Patches of Chilled Ground, again, it just makes you really slow. So these ones just aren't fun. They're just not fun. So just be careful about that. And yeah, so that's about it. That's pretty much everything that you need to know about the map mods. When you're rolling map mods, just make sure you can have something you can do. So my build, I know I don't have to worry about Reflect, so I can do this mod. I'll add another one, and I get Players of Elemental Equilibrium. That doesn't really affect my character, so I can just jump in and do this map, and I don't really have to worry about it. But even if you're a character that can handle Reflect, my character can. When I go into this Orchard map, I'm going to know that the boss, and think about it beforehand, the boss is going to have like its instant kill attack, so if I get hit, I die, so I may not want to fight the boss on this map. And also, they reflect elemental damage. If you find a reflect pack, because imagine I can mitigate this, and I find a reflect pack in here, the reflect stack. So I can take a lot of damage burst that I didn't suspect. So, yeah, you have to be very careful when you're running maps. But the final thing I'm going to say is don't be worried, don't freak out about, I can't run maps with mods and stuff like that because your character's not strong enough or something. Like my character's 78, and I started running maps when I was 65, or 66 on this character, and I couldn't do any mods for like a while just because you need to pick up the gear to do extra damage, you got to level up your gems, and just level it up and just do some more damage, and then you can start popping in some mods and doing some extra things. So don't worry about the fact that like you're still running 66 maps, Overgrown Ruin or something at level 70 something, and you're not doing any mods on it. unless there's a problem with your build, you will be able to start level up and do like the 67s, the 68s, and work your way up the different maps. So that's my perspective on what it is, what I've learned. Oh yeah, also quartz flasks. Use quartz flasks, people. Yeah, it's everything I've learned over the past 2 days of just starting maps in the beginning. If you can avoid pretty much all these things, have at least 3,000 HP, cap out your resistances. It's so important. Have a way to deal with chaos damage in some way. You need to be able to deal with chaos damage in some way, and know what the bosses are like. And also reflect packs. Don't die to reflect, people. There's always a reflect pack in every map. Always. So don't die to reflect. But assuming you can follow these quick tips, then you should be okay, and you should be ready to start mapping it up. If you're really worried about your Beyond character, or your Hardcore character, and you don't want to start maps right away, because you're super worried, go to Standard, make another character, and just try all the maps one time. Get a feel for it, and then come back. Path of Exile is about knowledge and desync, but knowledge. So if you know what you're going up against, you're not going to die half as much. So that's my 2 cents. Oh yeah, I'm not a guy who normally does this. I actually have a Path of Exile macro, and it's not a potion macro. Don't use potion macros, people. That's cheating. But I have a really good macro, which some of you may want to know about. It's /OOS. If you do not know this command, you need to know this command. By pressing it, it puts you back in sync with the game. If you are a melee character, if you're a character who uses stuns or Cyclone, or pretty much anybody, or if you've ever opened up a strongbox, your character will get out of sync. I highly recommend you have a macro. You can just hit a key and it puts you back in sync. I do this about every 6 or 7 seconds, and it's very, very noticeable when you're doing maps, because you're running around, you're killing large quantities of monsters, and my character is Resolute Technique, so I can't miss. But when I go up to a monster and I start hitting and nothing happens, and then I click my out of sync button and I'm actually like, I'm actually over here and the monster's like actually over here, but I was still getting hit. Very, very important, especially with strong boxes. The second you open the strong box, get your quartz flask, pop your quartz flask, and you're going to be okay. Quartz flask may not be the best thing, but if you can spare a slot, I highly recommend you swap in a quartz flask. So that's everything. Thank you for watching. Good luck on all your maps, and hopefully you get some sick loots. See you next time.